Hello everyone, this is Shining Noctowls, and tonight I wanted to do a very special video today actually. This video is something that I've been thinking about it recently actually, and I really have tried to find a way to really go about it in a way that speaks to me the best, as it were. And I figured it finally would be a good time to do so, to really summarize my thoughts, as it were. This is a image or photo I actually took in Canfield Mountain up here in North Idaho, and I recently took it actually this late afternoon. Actually, it was finally cool enough to go into the forest, as it were. It was actually around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not exactly sure how that would convert in Celsius, but nonetheless, it was finally cool enough to, at least cool enough for me, as it were, to go into the forest. And I really enjoyed my time in there, I did. And so I wanted to do a video of why I myself personally go into the forest. I know people have their own reasons of why they go, but for me, I always simply go into the forest simply to heal and to connect with nature. I don't really go there for much more than that. I mean, I guess you could say hiking is an exercise, and you could say, that's a side effect of going to the forest, but I really go there just to connect with nature and the elements, and it really helps me find peace. And I wanted to do this video because I recently watched a video of Borge Andres Bohansen. He did a video on uh basically as he would call it, real masculinity versus fake masculinity. At least, at least that's what he would call it in respect to him. And so, he did it, he essentially, in his video, he talked about how, uh, you know, there were ways how someone could express their masculinity in a more so authentic way, in his opinion, regarding, um, being yourself and not, essentially having to say, oh, look at me, I have this huge house or this huge car or, whatnot. And I think that can actually even be extended further, because I know that's something that some men, of course, really try to strive for whenever they wish to express themselves, and that's something that they can do, and I just let them be, and I just sometimes I've had them question me why I'm happy enough making less than six figures, renting and running a humble eBay business, but I tell them I do it because I enjoy it. I actually enjoy selling trading cards such as Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, as well as other hobby items and other miscellaneous games and books and things like that. But nonetheless, I wanted to really talk about really because Boris has already given his kind of response or numerous videos of what he feels like what makes a man, or what masculinity is. And so for me, and I covered this already in a previous video, when I go into the woods at times, especially in the winter, but even sometimes in other seasons, I will notice that there will be a lot of people in the woods with firearms, whether it's a rifle, a pistol, any kind of projectile that shoots bullets, as it were. Uh, and the thing is I've been questioned by some of these men, why don't you carry a firearm in the forest? Aren't you afraid, or aren't you afraid of a wild animal attacking you? And I just tell them, I've been walking these woods for over 20 years now, and I'm fine enough with a stick, you know. And I'm not saying that them carrying a firearm or a rifle or any of that makes them any less of a person or as a man as they may so be, or makes them as masculine as some of them would be concerned about. I just feel like for me personally, I don't feel like I need to carry a weapon like that to feel more secure within myself. And I've told them that numerous times actually. And as far as the videos I've seen about Borge, I know from what I've seen, he carries a hatchet or I guess an axe, as he would call it, or a bow and arrow, or a knife. But I don't think I've ever really seen him really ever speak about ever needing a gun or firearm to feel more secure, or even to even needing bear spray or. Well, and the thing is, like, whether he carries it or not is irrelevant, really. I guess just what I'm trying to say is that for me, I just feel like that, there are men out there that really feel like they need to carry this gun, really, this gun to feel more, to feel more, what's the word I want to say? And again, I'm not trying to say that they're wrong for carrying it. Again, if they feel safe with it, that's fine. But I just feel like sometimes they try to really carry the gun for almost like a status symbol. It's like, look at me, look how macho I am, with this gun, and look, look how fast it can shoot bullets and stuff. And that's fine, and I'm sure, not all of those people that carry the guns in the forest are like that, but I noticed that sometimes there's this arrogance that comes with um misusing these weapons, or even just carrying them. I actually had a female hiker in the woods last winter that apparently she got into an argument with one of the hunters up there, and the hunter, he said, how can you be talking to me like this if I'm carrying a gun? Is essentially what she was saying. Because I think he was complaining to her about her dogs being too far astray and whatnot. And that's really sad, to really just say, why, you shouldn't be talking to me like this if I have a gun. That's not what really being a warrior is to me. That's really honestly very sad that someone has to act like that, really. And especially in front of a lady. And I know Borge has spoken about that, and I have not been perfect myself in the past, and I've done my best to do better, and I'm sure or many people out there, men or women, can agree with that. But I think that really being strong within yourself and really understanding what your strengths and weaknesses is important. And I feel like that some people may try to cover those weaknesses with carrying the firearm. And I know, again, some people use it for hunting and things like that. And again, like when it comes to hunting, um, I have my own thoughts on it. So I feel like there's a way to hunt respectfully. I've never well, I've never hunted, at least this lifetime. I haven't hunted a land animal yet. I've hunted by fishing before. Some people may not call fishing hunting, but it is a form of hunting in a way. Of course, I use the fishing rod, not a gun or things like that. But I feel that if I did go hunting, like if I had to for sustenance, I would probably use a bow and arrow. Yeah, and the reason why I would use a bow and arrow over a gun, it may just be preference. I've shot a gun before at a gun range, and it just didn't resonate with me. I know some people love shooting guns, to them that's like, oh, this is what makes me a man, or oh, this is what makes me look at me, how fast I can shoot this thing. But for me, I just have no need for it really. I don't I just think it's unnecessary. At least for me. And again, when I speak about these things, I have to be careful because I know some people have their own way of going about things, but for me, I feel like that if I hunted, at least a land animal, I would probably use a bow and arrow because for me, well, bow and arrow has a longer history to it than the firearm. It's been around for thousands of years, multiple millennia. And the bow and arrow, there's a spiritual message to the bow because particularly if it's crafted by using part of a tree and there's a certain naturalness to it and I also believe that using bow and arrow you really have to be more precise, at least in my opinion. Again, I've only shot a gun a couple times, so I could be wrong. But at least from what I can see, you'd have to be more precise, shooting for bow and arrow than with a rifle or firearm. And for me, I feel like, although, if I did practice bow and arrow, it would take a longer time for me to really master it. So if I did shoot, I'd get a clean shot with the bow and arrow. I feel like, that would probably work better for me personally because I feel like there's a little bit more of at least in my opinion a bit more of a respect there for the animal. And you really have to be precise with the bow and arrow and and I'm not saying you don't have to be precise with a firearm. It's just for me, I feel like when you're gonna shoot that arrow, it really is something you have to really you know really just be precise, but also be respectful, to whatever it is that's eventually gonna pass away for your sustenance. And again, for me, I don't really believe in trophy hunting for sport. Uh, I know there are some hunters that love doing that. I don't really find that healthy. I think if you're going to hunt, if you have to hunt, I feel like that you're better off doing it for sustenance and really respect the animal that's gonna be returning to the earth. And that can either be a wild animal or even domestic animal. Even when I go to the grocery store, I do what I can to really make sure whatever I'm buying, whatever meat I've bought in has been treated well, at least to some extent. And of course there can still be levels of improvement for that, but I always make sure that whenever I eat meat in particular, that I really show the animal spirit, because I really do believe animals have spirit. I know some people believe, oh, they don't have souls and stuff, and that's a shame they believe that. But for me, I feel that it's important to show respect to the animal that's provided you sustenance, and not take it for granted, because there is a soul there, there is a spirit there, and you have to just to show that animal respect. Yeah, and that's the same as well for trees and plants and fungi. Anything you consume, you should. It's important to show respect. And that's why when I go into the forest, I really connect with the trees and sometimes I hug the trees because I really feel that they have a soul too. They have a spirit, and I think it's important to and especially Borge, he talks about how when he connects with the forest in Norway, it's like connecting with the land of his ancestors. Now, for me here in America, it's a wee bit different because I felt like my spirit, my Celtic spirit, came from the Isles, from Eire, from Ireland, and even I might have had a past life in Scotland as well. But so I'm here essentially in a foreign land, or in a land that my ancestors weren't originally in, and I'm grateful for the spirits and the land that's accepted me here. But I think it's important for people to remember that. Because when you go into someone else's house or someone else's woods, uh, there really has to be a sign of respect, even more so, to say, hey, like, because it's imagine if someone goes to your house and you would want them to show you would want them to show you respect, and I think it's only fair we do the same. And I know there can be a whole argument for that, and I know there may be some people who may argue, and particularly some other Americans in the chat, that may argue that their forefathers were the ancestors of these lands. And yes, they may have been ancestors for a few generations, but really, we really have to respect the ancestors that have been here for thousands of years and really show them respect too. And even one of the elders said, our people need respect just as much as your people need respect. And I think it's important to remember that. So that's why when I go into the forest, even though, I have a Celtic spirit, I do what I can to respect the spirits here in North Idaho. And I feel like they've accepted me and they've really have, they enjoy when I go in there because they know that I mean well, and that I don't mean to bring any unnecessary harm there. Because I really just go there for healing and to really just cleanse my energy and my spirits. And so yeah, I think that's something important to remember. But I think even if this land was my own homeland or the homeland of my ancestors, spiritual ancestors, I would still show the same respect because at the end of the day, the earth is really not mine to own or anyone else's to own in a way. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to return to the earth. I mean, I know some would prefer to keep their palace and, live eternally on the earth. But that's not how it works, You come here, you live here for a time and you return, and you may come back, of course, but you're definitely not going to come back with that palace that you bought this lifetime. So yeah, that's something that you have to remember, and there has to be a certain level of humility there, because I think far too often, I mean, even myself, I'm not perfect either. So, but we all make mistakes, and we all have to really show respect to the gifts we receive, or a privilege. It's a privilege to have these gifts, as John O'Sullivan would say from the Irish pagan school. And we have to really, really show just show whatever we've received that yes, I am thankful for this gift. And because I think far too often people tend to not be, which is a shame. But yeah, no, I think that you know, and I know some people would say too, why don't you carry a gun, if someone starts shooting at you? I mean, what's the stick gonna do? And I tell them, well, even if that happened, if I met a mentally ill person that do that, I still feel like there would be a better way to handle that person, trying to shoot me than than to shoot him back, because I feel like that, I myself feel like that I'm strong enough to find another solution, whether it's having to act fast and disarm him and hit him with my stick. and maybe either throw the gun off the mountain or just get it away from him, or you know, potentially I could also evade him as well. But I feel like probably disarming him might be the best thing to do. But yeah, no, I think that doing that would be far better than taking another person's life, and that's why we have to really, because there's a sense of responsibility there whenever a life passes, and we have to, and even in self-defense, I know some people would say, well, he attacked me and I shot him dead, wasn't that the right thing to do? And I'm not saying it isn't. That person had a right to defend himself, but I just feel like there are other ways to handle situations. Because again, like some people might say, I shot the 10-foot mama moose dead because, I thought it was going to charge me. When for me, I just looked at her and she looked at me. She got some water from the stream and went up the trail, and there was no confrontation there or unnecessary blows. And so, but I feel like you have to be really strong within yourself before you can make that decision. And again, I want people to know that this is something that I personally believe. I'm not saying that anyone else has to do what I'm doing. If you feel far more comfortable with having a firearm or a weapon or something like that, that's fine. That's your decision. It's just for me personally, I feel that I myself, as a person and my spirit, my Celtic heart, that I'm strong enough without that to handle these situations. And the stick is more than enough. And so I think that being a man, it's so much more than just being tough, as Borge would say, or so much more than oh, I have a big weapon, or oh, I'm 7 feet tall with huge muscles. I think that, or I have a huge expensive mansion and all this stuff. I think really, for me personally, I think that at least for my own personal journey, being a man is having a balance between masculinity and femininity. And I know there are some men out there who might say femininity is a bad thing. Being feminine or being part feminine, is a problem, but I don't believe that personally because I feel that some of the women in my life that have come into my life that have been feminine have been some of the have ultimately helped me become such a stronger man. And I feel like without those women or without that feminine energy, I wouldn't have been as strong today had they had not been part of my life. So I personally believe that the women that have been there for me, really, I appreciate them, especially the women who deeply touch my heart. And there was actually one woman that I really healed with tremendously recently. And I finally made the decision to make a healing circle with her. And just like she did with me long ago. And I showed her a message of love like she shared with me, and that ultimately helped heal me and free me. Really, it did. And so I don't want to hear these people who say, oh, being part feminine or being influenced by women or having respect for a goddess makes you a weaker man, because it doesn't. I think it only makes you a stronger man by having a respect for the god and goddess or gods and goddesses, whoever you connect with, as well as within yourself. And I think that it's important for people to understand that. And so yeah, I really think that it's important for me to share that because I I think people tend to be very get tend to really confuse this idea of what it means to be a warrior, whether a man or even whether it's man or female or warrior or warrioress, But anyways, I felt like I'm glad I shared that. I hope you guys have a better understanding of how I feel about these topics now. regarding the balance of feminine and masculine, or those archetypes of god and goddess, and as well as with the land and the spirits, and for yourself and others and other things. But other than that, I hope you guys all take care. I hope you all have a good rest of the evening. And before I go, I want to share the rest of my photos that I took this afternoon, just so you guys can look. I'm gonna see if I can really pull it up. Hopefully you guys can see this. But yeah, no, these are some really nice photos. Uh, let's see here. Yeah, hopefully you guys are seeing this. I just want to make sure. Uh, yeah, yeah, it's working. Yeah, it's really nice going up in the woods. And whenever it's during the sunset, it really is beautiful. And I just have such a good time just doing it. Just sitting under a tree, it's very peaceful, and it heals me tremendously. So yeah, it's a privilege to go to these woods. It really is a privilege. And I just hope in time other people will. That's an older photo from long ago in Japan. But yeah, I just hope people can understand this is really a gift from the land, and I think that if we can understand that, I feel like it can really help us down the road. It can. But anyways, with that being said, I hope you all take care. Slangafol. Bye for now. Bye for now.